Hello and welcome back to Retfurb. So on today's video I've got this set of Manitou X-Vert R Triple clamp forks from 1998 that I'm going to be showing service on them, and also going to be painting the lower legs, which is just a bit of an add-on really. I'm going to be doing them a slightly different design, just doing a bit more customized, but I'm going to be showing the process of stripping them all down, servicing the internals, refilling the oil on the twin piston chamber. So yeah, getting straight into it. You can see I'm just removing the adjusting knob on one of the legs. So if you've ever had a set of Manitous with these adjusters on, you'll know just how rubbish they were. They never used to adjust very well. I had a set of SX brand new in 98 and they never adjusted very well, even from new. They were just a really bad design. I don't know why they didn't like it, but I try to make them move a bit better. Sometimes they're fine. I've had forks, I've got a set of SX R's which actually adjust really well, but yeah, most of the time they don't. And as you can see, I'm just making a mess removing the other side. This is the oil chamber, so I'm just removing the damper at the top and just pumping that to try and get as much oil out as possible. So yeah, it's a little bit of a mess going on there. And you can see the spring stack and the elastomer that I've taken out the other side. So they're in pretty good condition. I'm going to be replacing the elastomers on them because they're a little bit old and they are starting to go a bit hard. So I will be replacing those. I've got some elastomer rod that I'll just cut some piece out, and that'll be ideal for replacing that in there. Just moving the top brace, just getting that out of the way. Didn't actually need to remove that, to be honest. It isn't going to affect the work that we're doing on it, but I just thought I'd take it off as part of the process. So now just undoing the Allen bolts at the bottom, and then we can slide the stanchions out and take the lower legs off. When I was younger, Manitou were one of my favourite forks. Just really like the style of them, and they were a little bit different. I think most people had rock shocks, or were into rock shocks, and I always liked the Manitous. I thought they looked pretty good. I always liked the graphics and everything on them. I always thought they stood out compared to some of the other forks. Not necessarily saying they're better than the others. There's probably a lot better forks out there at the time. Yeah, I did really like them. As you can see here, now I've just slid the stanchions out. They're in really good condition. There's no marks or anything on it. Maybe the odd tiny little mark. Most of it's just residue, which I'm just wiping off there, which is just dried on there, which I'll remove before I put back together. You can see it's a bit manky down on this side. Just scraping out some of the stuff in there. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is. I think it's where it's got damp and it's sort of calcified in there a bit. So just scraping that out, getting that out of the way. And just cleaning up the bits as I go along. So I will be cleaning them a lot better before I put it back together, but just giving a quick clean off. And now just undoing the nut. This is a plastic nut on the bottom of these lowers, so you do need to be very careful of them. I've seen other Manitou forks where they've been either done up too tight or some sort of issue there before where they've cross-threaded and they've cracked the lower part of the stanchion, and then they've been useless. So yeah, you just need to be mindful of that, especially when you put it back together as well. So now I've just put some degreaser on this sock and just used a wood rod just to push it down inside and just cleaning out the inside of the stanchions. So I just keep doing that and make sure it's nice and clean inside, and any of the sort of gunk that's left behind is removed. So on here you can see I'm just cleaning off these parts as I go along. And like I say, I will clean them again before I put them back together, but just making sure there's no sort of bits of hard stuff on there, any dirt, any sort of old grease removed. Checking all the rubbers and they're okay. One of them does need to be replaced, so I will be doing that. And just continuing to clean all the other bits. Now obviously I don't show like fully in depth what I'm cleaning on here, but you just need to make sure you get rid of any of the old dirty bits that are on there. Like I said previously, just making sure there's nothing that's going to contaminate it when you put it back together and cause any issues with it working. And just using the solvent based degreaser again just to go around and wipe the bits off of that. sliding that piece back in, and we can get that screwed back in place now that's all cleaned. And like I say, you don't want to over tighten this, I would just literally just nip it up. So now we can look at the elastomer and spring stacks, we can get all that cleaned, get those elastomers replaced. So the bulk of this sort of work really is just cleaning. The actual strip down and everything is fairly straightforward really. I wouldn't say there's any sort of major sort of hard bits on it to do. It's just mostly just cleaning off any of the old stuff, re-greasing and getting it put back together. So you can see here I've got some polyurethane rod which I'm using for the elastomer material, which is a similar sort of hardness as the original, and then that'll outlast the originals, and it'll just freshen it up inside. I do also have another video on my YouTube channel which shows replacing elastomers on a RockShox fork. So if you've got any other sort of forks which need the elastomers replaced, this is an ideal way of doing it. You can get different hardness of polyurethane rod. So yeah, it's a good way of replacing the elastomers. You can buy kits obviously with elastomer rod. But yeah, this is probably a cheap way of doing it. You can just see there I'm just trying to loosen that adjuster, so I put some grease inside it, just used the pliers just to move it around a bit, and it sort of freed it up, but it still wasn't great to be honest. But there's not a lot else you can really do with them. Just greasing back up these parts to get them fitted back in, so that just slides back down inside the stanchion. And just greasing up, putting some nice new grease. So I use Teflon grease for all this sort of thing, which works really well. You've got to be a bit careful with some greases you use because it can react with the materials inside. So I find that Teflon's works really well, and I don't really have any issues with it. Well, I don't have any issues with it. Just screwing that back in, so this just needs to be hand tight again. And now just removing the seals, the wiper seals for the lower legs. So these ones look a bit manky, but they actually cleaned up really well. So you can see there that I've repainted the lowers now. I decided to do them black, and I just did a custom decal to fit on there. So it's similar to another Manitou fork, the decals. So I just thought it'd be something a bit different than just doing them like for like how they were before. So now I'm just greasing up the stanchions, getting ready to push them back into the lowers. Now putting the Allen keys on the bottom just to hold those stanchions in place. Same with both sides. So now after this we'll be filling the oil up on the fork, which I don't actually show fully, but you'll get the idea of what I'm trying to explain. So with the manufacturer's manual, you have to fill the oil 100mm from the top. There is a bit of leeway, you can go slightly over that and slightly under. But on the oil side you need to fill it up, so from the top of the stanchion down it's 100mm, which I'll show you on the diagram now, and you can see there that shows you the leeway you've got, and I'll put a link in the description also with the manual, so you can obviously check that yourself. But when that's done you can push the damper back in, screw it back on, and yeah, that's it, it's all done. All the servicing is done on it. As you can see, they come out really well. Obviously customize the bottom, which some people probably won't like, they'll probably want it original. But yeah, I'm happy with how they come out. I hope that helps if you're looking to service a set of these forks. So that shows the basic process of it. If you need to know any more, if you want to ask any more questions, please feel free to do so in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video, it's really appreciated. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.